I'm Nicholas Fikak, Principal Combat Designer at Gunfire Games, in charge of bosses and creatures.
I just got some hands-on time with Remnant 2. Big fans of the first Remnant at Shacknews, and it seems like this is going to be the Remnant we love, but with a lot of new improvements. Can you talk about some of the new features for Remnant 2?
So this year we went more with Archetypes, which is kind of going more with, trying to find your play style. So you play today with the Challenger, which is more of our close combat, but also they have their own abilities. He sends out a stomp that sends a shockwave out. Or there's the Gunslinger, which he can aim and shoot at different people. He's more your long-range DPS. Or one of the favorite classes that people are really enjoying is the Handler. That you were able to play today, which, man's best friend next to you, able to revive you, or be able to send him off to go after people, or have him, guard you as well. And then along with other player updates, having, more contextual jumping to see a ledge you would end up jumping to jump onto a different part, or there's different mounting heights compared to Remnant from the Ashes.
Nice. So where did the decision come to move to Archetypes? Like, what made you guys decide that was the way to go for 2?
That was more of our progression team just trying to find a way to, instead of just changing out armor, actually finding a particular play style for everyone. So take the Handler, more of that support kind of character. Just trying to make that support aspect. Just trying to give it a try. Let's see how Archetypes play out for us.
Nice. Do you think that creates like a new level of accessibility as far as like if you're just getting into the game and you're familiar sort of with character archetypes and things like that? Is it like do you feel like it's going to be easier for players to step into a role this time around?
I think players, even if you're returning from the first game, you're going to see some similarities where instead of that changing out armor, it's all, well, I'm going to choose the Challenger this time. If you're familiar with like that DPS class, you'll recognize, all right, I'm going to be the Gunslinger because he has the further range and he does this. But if I want to be the tank, I'm definitely going to choose the Challenger. And I think players will get a grasp of that.
What was like the biggest lesson you learned from Remnant 1 as you were preparing to make Remnant 2?
I think some of it was just trying to make sure that listen to our fan base, but also what we felt was like, what could we do differently as far as now with the story? So now when you roll a world, it's not just going to be, oh, I start and I go into the city, I do this. Now you could go into, as you played today, you played Yesha, and now that storyline can be randomized. Now almost everything now is randomized. So I could be in this world and you could be in another one, have 2 totally different main stories and then different bosses throughout there.
Nice. So it's a lot more individual narrative, like you have your own story going on. You're not just coming in and out of some point in other people's games or something like that.
Yeah, so now you're just, that main story, a lot of those beats are just randomized, but they all will end to a common goal.
Nice. Now let's talk about the Handler class a little bit. Everybody loves companions and everybody loves doggos. What made you guys decide to have like a character class with a companion?
So I think some of it was Remnant from the Ashes. To go on to your previous question is, what do we learn? That people love the dog. And so we're all like, well, what other games kind of have this dog companion? And we're just looking around. We're like, all right, there's quite a few out there. So we're going to make the dog. Everybody loved that mod. So here we go. We're going to have the companion. This is the Handler class. So now here's the dog. He's going to be able to guard you. He'll be the attack dog. He'll be the guy that reses you.
Did you ever think at any point, maybe let's just make the whole game just dogs and hanging out with dogs?
For me personally, I love the Gunslinger, so for me, probably not, but I would say, a lot of the other people may have that same impression. Just let me have let me be the Handler across the board, so that way I can also pet the dog.
Well, that's what you have dual classes for then, basically, right?
Yeah, so with the dual archetypes is you could be that, when you get to that level where you can, you could have the challenger and then be a handler as well, or handler slash gunslinger. So you would be able to still have a piece of both worlds.
You can't be a handler though, right? You can't get two dogs.
No, unfortunately, you cannot be handler. No.
Okay, what about the cat people out there? Do you have any plans to introduce, like, maybe a crazy cat lady archetype?
That I do not know. We'd have to see what the progression team has lined up for that one.
Man, that's awesome. So, one thing that was very noticeable from the hands-on time was you've added a lot of verticality, and there was even an area where I kind of started to explore, and I found myself kind of doing a lot of jumping. Like, I wouldn't call it a puzzle, but there was definitely a lot of exploration and getting to some special stuff, and I had to, like, kind of navigate my way through a lot of jumps.
Yeah, so the level design team really went through just trying to take that into, compared to Remnant from the Ashes, a lot of the verticality would come from certain POI, like point of interest, or this time we built it into the level design to leading up to other things where you see transitions going through. And that was one of the things. And also utilizing the new movements, vaulting up and jumping to get to those new places as well.
Awesome. Now, we saw 3 different archetypes today. You have more that you're going to be revealing down the road as we get closer to launch, though, right?
There most likely will be more that are going to be more archetypes that'll be being revealed, or just have to see what comes out with Remnant 2.
Nice, awesome. And I imagined, like, actually, just playing it, it seems like very, very much still Remnant. Only you've added a lot of new things, you've tweaked a lot of new things, but that core gameplay still feels very much intact.
Yes, we did want to impact especially returning players or new players coming in. We wanted people to be able to come in, play the game that they did before, but the only thing that we did add was skills. So that was just, well, where do we put it? How do we handle it? And that was the biggest addition, was just adding the skill type archetypes.
Awesome. So when are we going to see more Remnant 2 at this point?
Right now there is month coverage going on this month for with IGN. As far as anything else, just have to keep an eye out.
If folks want to keep up with what's going on with Remnant 2, where should they go?
Just follow the Remnant game on Twitter, and that's pretty much where a lot of the information gets followed up, and also Shacknews for always following up with us. So.
Yeah, just go to shacknews.com for all your Remnant 2 needs.
Thank you so much.
All right.